Hey guys, happy Finish Friday! If you haven't watched before, my name is Amy Howard and I want to get my laptop situated over here because that way when I turn down and I'm going to be showing you how to create a finish, I want to make sure that you can see me. So let me get this situated. Come on. All right, here we go. How's everybody doing? Let's see. There we go. All right, how's it going? I don't know about y'all, but oh my goodness, the weather is to die for here in Memphis. It's like Memphis in May. We have a function that's called Memphis in May, but Memphis in May is some of the prettiest time of the year. The weather is just divine. The humidity's low, and so Jean Howard and I are going to enjoy some really pretty weather this weekend. So I hope everybody is doing great. We've had a great week. I was excited to work on this. I think I'm going to be working with two different colors today that you've never seen before, and I'm working with milk paint. So yeah, you're here. Hey. It's funny thing is on my laptop, I actually can't see your names, but I can on my phone. So hey, everybody. If you've not tuned in before, I'm the mother maker and the creator of the finishes here at Amy Howard at Home. And I missed seeing y'all last week, but we were focusing on launching our Old World Finishing Course Season 5. And so we've got a great new group. I'm excited about meeting all of them the first of next month. So if you're a part of that group, keep working hard, keep doing your modules. But I love doing Finish Fridays because it's an opportunity for me to develop a finish, doing something that I've never done before a lot of times, to be able to just show you, one, the versatility of our products, and two, that I want you to start thinking outside of the box. We are on a journey here to raise our level of connoisseurship and how we execute finishes on furniture, accessories. Maybe you're a woodworker, or maybe you're somebody that actually makes furniture. Maybe you're not rescuing and restoring them, but it's a great way to be able to just really raise your level of connoisseurship up. I want to show you something. I'm going to do a close-up of what I'm going to show you how to do today. You're going to love it. We're going to be working with pigments. We're going to be working with cracked gesso. We're going to be working with milk paints. And if you're not familiar, if you watch me live, of course this is Friday afternoon, Central Standard Time in Memphis, but all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and Monday. If you share this video, your name goes in for a drawing, and I'm going to be giving away the products that I am working with to a lucky winner. So you want to be sure and participate in that, and all you have to do is share the video. And we say that sharing is caring. So here we go. I want you to look at this. This is a combination of a couple of colors I want to show you. Look at these two colors. Are they yummy? Yum, yum, yum. This is like a rust and a blue. And I'm going to show you how to go in and actually kind of to layer them and pull them. And I don't know if you can see, as far as it's really cracked and yummy. It's so pretty. The only thing when we're dealing with these phones, and being able to see things on screens on our computers, a lot of times it really kind of takes away from it. But I'm going to take you through the process. Look at this is the colors that I'm working with. Hello from Romania. Okay, that's a first. I promise I'm just sharing something with you, but seeing that from Romania. My book, I have a book that I have written, and it's called Rescue, Restore, Redecorate. If you don't have it, I will tell you. Not that this is a plug, but it's a good book with recipes and things in it that you can learn a lot. It was just translated into Russian. So my friends in Romania, you can get the book, and it's been translated into the Russian language, which a girl from Memphis, Tennessee, that was kind of a big deal. So I thought that was exciting. All right, so look at these two new colors. Just first of all, to be able to show you how to make these colors you're going to be excited about. So as you continue to watch, please share the video and then say, hey, tell me where it is that you're tuning in from. And I'm going to turn this down because I want you to see the step outs, because when you see this finish, I promise you're going to absolutely love, love, love. All right, so continue to say hey, and I will look at your questions later and answer them. But I want you to be able to see what it is that I'm doing step by step. All right, so here we go. I'm going to turn this down. We do not speak Russian. Well, Romania, what do they speak? Okay, I'm so sorry. But I just saw Romania and it made me think of Russian. So, but forgive me if I was a faux pas. But I'm excited that you're watching, so welcome. And the great thing is we ship international, so that makes it a lot more fun too. All right, so let's talk about step outs. Part of what I'm teaching you that I want you to be able to see is being able to dissect finishes, and how in learning how to dissect them, how you can see the layering process and what that looks like. So what I started off with is going to be Bauhaus Buff. The first thing you're going to do in order to be able to create this finish is I used my one step. So you can paint an existing piece of factory furniture. Maybe it's Mediterranean looking, maybe it's mid-century, whatever. If it has an existing finish on it from a factory, it's perfectly all right. Clean it with clean slate, and then you can put on a good coat, not too thick, of the one-step paint. All right, so that's gonna be step one. So that's what I have here. This is what this is simulating. I have painted this piece of trim with the Bauhaus Buff. Now, the next step is we're gonna be painting, I'm gonna go through this, so just hang with me. So the next step is actually you're gonna be applying on top of the Bauhaus. This is step one. Step two, on top of the Bauhaus, we created this custom color, which I'm just gonna tell you, is that yummy? I am in love with this color. All right, so that's our custom color. And then after we apply this color on top of our one step, we're gonna apply cracked gesso on top of that. And then we're gonna put our blue color that we're gonna mix on top of that and then antique it. All right, so I'm just wanting you to see the step outs. So now let's go through the process. All right, so we're gonna focus on our Bauhaus Buff. Now, let me show you how I mixed this color because it is yummy. Look at this. I took Tuscany in the summer. This is our milk paint. You want Tuscany in the summer. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of Lore Earth pigments. This is on the website, and you're gonna mix the pigment with the paint that's already made up. All right, so that's how I'm able to get this gorgeous, gorgeous color. So there it is dry on the paper. When I was working with the two of them, they're just such great complementary colors together. Putting this on first allows it to peek through, and as I distress it, underneath this blue that I'm also going to show you how to make. All right, so I took a little bit of Tuscany in the Summer milk paint, and I mix it with my Lore Earth pigment. Now, if you're not familiar with milk paints, you only want to mix what you need at the time, because you can store it in the refrigerator and it's got a good 2 weeks shelf life after you've mixed it. If it stays in this powder form, guys, it's good forever. It doesn't go bad. Just seal it. That's why it's in a resealable pouch. Just reseal it and you're good to go. Now I'm going to take the Lore Earth pigment. This is a pure pigment. Just like it came from like Mr. Zecchi's shop in Florence, Italy. This is a pure pigment. Now these pigments are used a lot of times in makeups. Of course, they're used in paint. And look at that. I'm putting that pure pigment into my Tuscany in the summer. All right, so I'm going to mix this together. And what that's doing, it's going to give me the color that I'm wanting to be able to put underneath this blue. Now, you can mix your own custom colors, which I love when I'm doing my milk paint finishes. And then once I add water to this, it goes to this brick color. Do you not love that? Loving it. Love, love, love. All right, so I didn't get it too terribly dark, that I wanted to still keep it to where I saw that yellow. So now, I mixed this just a little bit before we went live. And so I'm wanting to make sure that my pigment, you see how the pigment will kind of separate and go to the bottom of it? You've got to make sure that you agitate that and get that all blended up really well. Now, when you're mixing milk paint from a powder to a water form, you want to mix it 1 part water to 1 part, 1 part water to 1 part paint. So that gives you the consistency that it will be beautiful and it's thin. Do not make this too thick or you're not going to be able to get the finish that you want when you go to the distressing. When people try to make the milk paint too thick to make themselves feel good about it, like it feels thick like regular paint, you're not going to be able to antique it to where you're really happy with it. All right, so as you pop on here, guys, as you are watching, please say hey. Tell me where you're tuning in from. And it lets me see just kind of who all is watching, what part of the world that you're from. And then I'd love for you to share this video, because that way, sharing is caring, but your name goes in for a drawing that we're going to be giving away the products that I'm working with today to create this finish. All right, so I'm going to go on now. I've got my piece in Bauhaus Buff, and I'm going to take my milk paint and I'm going to put it on top of the Bauhaus Buff. So I'm going to load up my chip brush. When I'm working with milk paints, I don't work with synthetic brushes. I'll use my chip brushes for my waxes as well as my milk paint. So I'm going to go on and paint this on top of the Bauhaus Buff. There's no special rhyme or reason. I just want you to be able to pounce it, spread it out, make sure that it doesn't get too bubbly, but you're going to have really pretty coverage like this. And just paint all of it. So whether you're working on a piece of furniture, I usually tell people, dissect the piece, paint the top first, paint the sides, take the drawers out, paint them individually. And so that way you've got 100% coverage. So again, what do we do first? We had the Bauhaus Buff first, and now we've mixed our custom color, which is Tuscany in the Summer, with a little bit of Lure Earth Pigment. Isn't that fabulous? I am loving this color. All right, so step 2. Let's grab our sample. So it's going to dry down to be this color. Now, I'm in love with this color. Once this color was waxed, it would look amazing. You see the difference. Let's look at it, because I want you to see when it's wet, see how much darker it is. And when you're working with milk paints, when they dry down, they're going to go lighter. So this is just one coat of the milk paint that we mixed up on top of my Bauhaus Buff. Now, let's go to step 2. What's step 2? Cracked gesso. The cracked gesso is a product that will crack the milk paint. This is proprietary. There's not another product on the market anywhere in the world. I developed this, and the process, I also developed the process for it. So that's one of the cool things, in the fact that as a creative, as a decorative finisher, I'm able to teach you, and I'm also the one developing the products and how they work. So I mix up cracked gesso, 1 part cracked gesso to 1 part water, just like we do the paint, 1 to 1. So you can do 1/2 cup of water, and I usually use a lukewarm water, 1/2 cup of water and 1/2 cup of cracked gesso. So you just want to mix that up into a cup, and I go to Target and I get these little plastic cups. I like holding them. I don't like the bowls. I think these are better. So this is about the consistency that it's going to be. It's kind of like a really thin sour cream. So you want to make sure that you've gone in and made sure all the granules are mixed up, so you don't have any granules that are going to be actually in your finish. All right, so this cracked gesso we're going to put on top of this. Okay, are you ready? So I'm going to take my chip brush again, and I'm going to load it up. Now, here's something, this is going to make a major difference, and this is why I love that y'all tune in and watch me, because this is going to add some texture to your finish. So we're going to come in, and we're going to kind of pounce on this cracked gesso, like this. I'm stippling it. This is going to add some texture. And look at the other thing it's doing. It's actually starting to kind of color. It's pulling up that color. If you want to thin it out just a little bit, you can, but I prefer to just kind of stipple it. So now I have my color. I put my cracked gesso on top of it. A lot of y'all are going, what is she doing? She's never shown us this before. I'm just trying to make sure that you're seeing the versatility of it and what a difference it can make. So be sure and stipple it, because it's going to give you a beautiful texture that you want. Now what do we do? Step 3. It's dried down, and you see it just kind of turned a combination of colors. It almost looks like it's marbled. The main thing I want you to see is if we've got texture vision here, and you can feel this, it's got some texture to it. So the next thing I did is I mixed my blue. I mixed a combination of 3 parts Amalfi Coast and a half a teaspoon, 3 teaspoons of Amalfi Coast and a half a teaspoon of the Knorr. That gives me this amazing color that I'm working with today. Look at this. It's kind of a bluish gray. I absolutely love it. The great thing about it is it's a complementary color on top of this kind of burnt orange. Kind of a cinnamony burnt orange. Love it. All right, so now we're going to come on top of it. We're layering this. Right now you're not able to see the layering, but guess what? When we go to do the antiquing process, that's when we're going to see the layering. So I'm going to paint this directly on top of this. So guys, if you're just now popping on, hello, happy Finish Friday. My name is Amy Howard. I'm with Amy Howard at Home, and I am working with my milk paints today and my pigments and showing you how you can create just a really yummy, textured, cracked, layered finish that you can do on your furniture. We started with our Bauhaus buff, and then we're incorporating our milk paints. So you see I got one nice coat. This will dry in about 15 to 20 minutes. And then it's gonna look like this. So you see how much lighter it dries down. Now, those of you that have watched me before, what are we ready for? We are going to low power mode. All right, so now we're ready to antique it. So I'm gonna take my antiquing glaze and I'm gonna put it in just a plastic cup. And a natural seawool sponge. And now I'm gonna be able to see what I did. My whole layering process is gonna start to show up. So what we do on this first time, we call it a pass. So I want you to go over the whole piece. Now, if you're working on a piece of furniture, you're gonna do the whole nightstand, or you're gonna do your whole drawer. Don't do part of it. And we're gonna do a pass. What that does is we're taking our sponge. You see, I'm not dragging it. I'm basically getting it wet. And I'll let it set for just a couple of seconds. Because then what that does, it's going to get the paint ready so where I can start releasing it. Now I'm gonna take my sponge and I'm gonna start, look at this. I'll start pulling it to where I can start to see a little bit of the cracked gesso underneath, as well as that yummy color that I first did. Now I'm gonna turn this around just a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. You cannot mess this up. Now, because a lot of people are like, oh yes you can, Amy, you've not seen me paint. Guys, you can't. This is so forgiving, and if you think about a piece of furniture that's old and how it will have worn over a period of time, now I'm gonna tell you something showing up here and I'm not happy, and I'm gonna tell you how I fix it. So I'm gonna pull this. What's happening, a lot of the white is starting to show through, and it's gonna mess with my composition, but I'm gonna show you how I fix it. I think I had somebody helping me mix my paint, and I can tell you right now, the paint was mixed too thick, because I shouldn't have to scrub it this much. So make sure that you don't mix your paint too thick. Now, what I'm not loving is that I can see too much of this white showing. But here's the great thing. As I start to antique it and I start to wear it, when those areas pop up that I don't love, what do? I'm gonna take my paint, I'm gonna dip my finger in it, and I'm just gonna come back. This is a little trick, and I've done this for many, many years when I'm working on furniture. So these areas that are bothering me, the composition, I'll start going back in and I'll just hit it on the top after I've antiqued it. That way I've still got some of the wear, but I don't have, it's not too stark. The other great thing is when I actually dry it, it's gonna look like I've got 2 or 3 different values of paint, of color, which I love. Look at that. love that. I want some of the white showing through. But I want it to be just a little bit softer. Now I can come back. I can come back, hit it with a hairdryer, and then I can do a couple of things. A lot of times, if I'm wanting that color to show underneath, look at this. I'll take my first color after I've worn it just a little bit. I'll dip my finger down in that first color like this, and I'll come around kind of on the edges just a little bit, just to let a little bit of that be more solid and show through. I'm gonna do this other edge just a little bit too. Not a whole lot. You don't want to make sure that you've got lines, but you can definitely blend it. You see, you cannot mess up. If there's anything that you don't like that's starting to pop out to you, you can just come in and touch over it. Because the main thing is I want to be able to give a little bit of a suggestion. Here's on my piece that dried earlier. A little bit of a suggestion that I've got this gorgeous terracotta orange color underneath my blue because they're complementary colors, and it gives it a lot of depth. So you want to just make sure that you don't have too much of the white showing through, but that it's soft enough that maybe it looks like the paint had popped off over a period of time. And you see how when I touched it up here and there, it gives me a little bit different color value of the blue, and it looks really fabulous. You know, too, I want to show you, I've got a terracotta color here. It's actually not good and dry yet. I'm actually going to go on and dry this because I want to antique it and I want to see what it looks like because I think these colors are just so pretty together. But the main thing, the skill that I wanted you to learn today was, one, I want you to know in order to be able to make a custom color that you can come back with regular pigments and add it to your milk paint to be able to make it darker. The other thing is I want you to get used to layering and having a couple of colors that are complementary, not just one color. But that way in this, the terracotta was so pretty underneath the blue. Mixing Amalfi Coast with the Noir, which is my black, made for a beautiful, richer, darker blue-gray color. So all of those together, learning how to be able to layer, and what was the other thing that I did that you probably aren't as familiar with? I laid down my color of the terracotta first, then I put the cracked gesso on top of that. So the cracked gesso is what will add the texture as well as the crack by cracking the blue, but I did not crack the terracotta first. I hope that makes sense. And that was a reason for that. I wanted to be able to have that more smooth, like somebody had painted it a couple of 100 years ago, then it got a new owner, and then that way they went in and painted it the blue-gray because that was the color that they wanted, and so it pops off, it gives it texture, and then it allows that first terracotta color to be able to peek through. So I'm going to take some close-up pictures of this so that way you can refer back to it. And remember, if you share this video, as we're going over layering and texture today, your name is going to go in for a drawing, and I'm going to send you the cracked gesso, the Amalfi Coast, and the Tuscany in the summer, so that way you'll be able to turn around and recreate this finish yourself. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. We've got some really great estate sales here in Memphis, so that's where I'll be tomorrow. But I hope you enjoy this beautiful, glorious spring weather. And two, ask your questions on here. I'll be more than happy. If anything got confusing, I will answer them for you because it's very important to me that you understand seeing layers and textures and how you can create incredible finishes and you don't have to be scared. Have a great weekend, everybody.